And I noticed this headline, and I haven't looked into it too much, but I noticed this came across my feed, and I thought it was random because it's not something I'd ever really thought about. But the headline was that Saudi Arabia now has access to nukes or nuclear. I mean, it might have been a Shapiro headline, honestly, but I put in my notes, Saudi Arabia goes nuclear. I was thinking about this, and I don't know anything about these countries. I don't research this stuff. I know the Iraq war was a complete debacle. I know Afghanistan was forever, and now we're into Iran, and I'm not a fan of it. But Ben Shapiro seemed awfully upset about it, and it looks like we've worked out a deal with Saudi Arabia, and it makes me wonder, like, economically, what's happening. Like, all of this, I put in my notes, this seems like it's more about money. Originally, when this started, I always had this belief that Democrats or the left was looking to get energy costs or energy. They were trying to put up rules for energy so that we could shift towards this electric thing. They call it green, but ultimately what they want is they want to be holding the stock for the energy company when it blows up. That seemed like what was going on. And then the Republicans obviously were in the other boat where they want to keep pushing oil. And it sort of seemed like that was sort of this pull back and forth, both people trying to say that they have our safety and our security in mind, but really they're just trying to profit. But listening to this, I was like, I never really thought about how messing with the economy over there and changing, this thing we did with Venezuela, and now we're messing with the oil in Iran, Saudi Arabia. It's like, what? It's not about alliances and survival. This is about the flow of money and where that money's flowing, to whom it's flowing, and ultimately where the money goes, there the control goes. So it just got me really thinking about this, and it's something I'm going to look into going throughout the week. Like, economically, how do these countries interact? And if just picture like a circle of like 5-10 countries, whatever, and they help each other, right? Let's just picture trade, right? This is my uncredible vision, right? I haven't done any research on this. It's just what I'm thinking. Imagine a circle where we'll say 7. We'll just pick the number 7. There's 7 points in the circle, and they trade with each other. One, and they go across too. So they're just, those 7 countries are just trading with each other, benefiting each other, and there's this ecosystem economically of, I give you oil, you give me barley, whatever, however it works. And there's something to be said about somebody noticing a lot of value in one of those items, right? Like an 8th country that's maybe not either wants to sell or buy and get involved with that. But in order to do that, you have to take some from somebody else. And it just seems like there's something weird going on here. And it's almost like somebody noticed that Iran was the recipient of something like profitable. And if we could just insert ourselves, we would then be the recipients of that. I'll give you what Iran gives you, or whatever it is. I don't know. It's the Strait of Hormuz. The oil prices seem to be the main things that are talked about, but it seems like there might be something else underneath. And again, I don't know how economically, and that seems to be what's most important right now to the people, the players involved. I don't know how Israel plays with that. I don't know if this is a trade thing or what, but they present it to us as if it's like, these people hate us. We're trying to defend ourselves and protect ourselves. That's sort of the narrative they give us. But behind the scenes, people are making a lot of money on this war, selling and buying ammunition, oil, all this stuff. So I just, back in my mind, when the Saudi Arabia thing popped up, so basically what this is they're allowed, it looked like the U.S. would be allowed to supply Saudi Arabia with technology that would lead them to nuclear power, not necessarily weapons. The word nuclear gets thrown around, but part of me wonders if Saudi Arabia is able to power something, hypothetically, whatever that is, with nuclear power. Obviously, the U.S. is going to benefit by selling those products, that knowledge, all that stuff to them, obviously. But it's also going to change how energy is used in that country, replacing maybe oil. something they get from Iran and disrupting that circle I was talking about. So it just, reading the article, the headline was kind of like a scare tactic to make you think, oh, we're going to give nuclear weapons to Saudi Arabia instead of Iran, blah, blah, blah. It seemed like it was more for civilian infrastructure, and that made me think, well, what if they can, what are they replacing? Like what energy are they replacing with these nuclear? I mean, obviously the front end is the U.S. gets to sell nuclear stuff, right? We get to sell whatever's involved with that process. Probably a lot of money in that. But on the other side of it, what are they stopping? Like, what are they stopping from happening? Like, is that going to cut off an economic flow to Iran or other countries, and how does that affect the economy? So anyway, that's just like my take. I put in my notes, my Uncredible take is it might be time for another look back at weeks, not months, folks, because we're now objectively into an endless war. We're heading into month number 6 now. So by the end of that month, for a second there I thought I stopped recording. By the end of that month, we will be at 6 months total, and then you start talking years, and when you start talking years, it's forever. I mean, it's like, oh well, I put a post, I think it was on that same comment, because somebody replied to me, and I said, by 2030, we'll be 4 years into this war, and Ben Shapiro will be on his show saying something stupid like, well, relatively speaking, in comparison to the Afghanistan and Iraqi wars, this is relatively short. He'll still be saying it. And by then, March 10th, 2026 will be long forgotten. It might be in the archives. It might not even be, the way, I've talked about this before, but the way information flows these days, that something like that could disappear altogether, because it would be very difficult to dig it up, just because of the volume of information that you have to sift through to find it. So no quit. Building their wall. While they talk about us. All they talk about us. Educated. Experienced. Still not credible. So we embraced it. Now we're uncredible.